This is a great film. You get really into it right away because there's this fight, and to learn that it's between a husband and wife fighting to the death, to the point where they're willing to kill their child, it really grabs the attention because you're wondering what led up to this. That question's not really answered, but you could see how it could be answered in an expanded film. This film has everything you want in an action film and in a fantasy film because you could feel the dynamic. The acting was brilliant. The script was really brilliant as well. It's this film that it keeps your heart racing because you're wondering what comes next. How is this going to? While deep down you're hoping that they'll resolve it because this is a family, but they don't, and so it makes it where your heart's on end, but you also want it to continue. You want your questions answered, and it kind of's good that it leaves it open-ended where you can make more films.
Overall, though, I feel like there, is a good point being made that there is an anti-violence and anti-hatred, perhaps, showing just what, the pointlessness of war and violence and what it can do in a family like this. But it's a nicely spun mythology, and that the whole ceremony at the beginning. There's that cool shot when you pull in on the burning ash in the bowl. I like that a lot. That was there's a lot of metaphor there. Um, and the location and the cinematography were gorgeous. And you just got the wonderful shot of the girl running, see her off in the distance running across the desert sand. It looked great. Costuming was great. Makeup and everything with the blood and the whole look. I mean, the costumes had history. They were worn. So the art department did a great job, and the actors did a great job too. Great fighting skills, really nice performances, and the mother having a nonverbal performance did a great job. And it was cool seeing this idea of the daughter taking up the mantle there. I'm hoping that because she got two handprints that maybe she's going to live a different sort of life, but we'll see, I suppose.
Honor and family and the choices you make. The two families are married yet battling against each other to have this action of having a name and keeping the family name and fighting to the death to have this. And the young daughter tries to prevent them from having this moment, wondering if they can make some middle ground, some form of agreement without the price being one another's life. And it's sort of Shakespearean in the fact that they both bleed to death within this battle. Like they even go to absolute extreme lengths to keep her at bay. They break literally a bone on her body and be like, I'm going to take care of you later. And, you know, in a sense, it's, ironic because she ends up being the last one standing. And when she is the last one standing, there's the act of when the mother passes, she puts her hand and her blood, her mark on her daughter. And then the same thing happens when her dad passes. And it's one of these instances where, she's carrying them both ahead in her life, despite them um, fighting over this frivolous act. But it's traditional, right? The filmmaker does a really great job at setting these rules up for how this world works.
I thought this was absolutely wild. I thought this was a lot was happening in this. And it was just a really, really extreme situation. And in that situation, like as the child, your two parents are fighting to the death right in front of you, which already were at a pretty extreme place. And then that they both, when you tried to interrupt it, they both, in some way attack you. which I also think is a very just extreme place to be. I think is such a wild concept just right off the bat, but also then it doesn't become about who you love or who raised you or, you know, who your parents are or anything like that. It doesn't become about anything other than survival. And I think that once you can get to that place, it's extreme, but once you can get there, you can kind of face anything. Like I said, the entire situation, the entire thing is at a very extreme place and lives at in a very extreme place, which is fine. But when you have all of these very, very heightened emotions and this heightened situation, I think that you can kind of do crazy things like having, you know, your dad kill your mom right in front of you and then you kill your dad and you have to kind of bear the consequences of that. And also, as the surviving member of this family, she already has like the handprint from her mom, and then she ends up getting the handprint from her dad, and having to kind of continue that duality of their legacy that they've left you, and that they left you in this moment with you had absolutely no choice in the matter. But I think it's really, really interesting to have to kind of pick yourself up after that and figure out a way to move forward. And how do you move forward?
There's like a dramatization in the story, but like how to create a world as a like sci-fi short is kind of neat too. Like in the desert with the outfit, with how they use like the weapons, like the swords, is kind of like convincing to see this as like a fantasy, and it's go along well with the drama aspect of the short film. It's well produced, it's well put, and it's fun to watch.